Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Akarkadash. Shalom to the elders for pushing word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered in the four corners of the globe, preaching word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And I say shalom to the Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson that I'm going to bring out from ArabNews.com. As it says, Philippines step up patrols after spotting dozens of Chinese vessels in the South China Sea. And keep this in mind too, while what's going on down there in the Indo-Pacific region, while you have, I'll say about like two and a half weeks ago, close to 3 weeks now, you had the Philippines, Japan, and the United States step up their security presence, or their security alliance amongst those three groups of those nations, amending the current tensions against China, of a lot of activities going on in the Indo-Pacific region, right along the Taiwan Strait, and the South China Sea as well too, of those territorial islands, areas over there. So, I just want to add an additional note to that. And it says 48 Chinese maritime military vessels recently spotted in the Philippine port of dispute waters. China claimed sovereignty over most of South China Sea based on its so-called 9-dash line. The Philippines will step up patrols in its parts of the South China Sea. A coastal guard official said on Sunday, after authorities recently recorded nearly 50 Chinese military ships in a contested research-rich waterway. The armed forces of the Philippines reported on Friday that the presence of 48 vessels to be part of the Chinese maritime military during an air patrol conduct in late June. They were spotted swarming a cruise reef, which authorities said it is within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Based on our last monitoring, Chinese maritime military remains in the area, Philippines Coastal Guard spokesperson CJ Terria said in a radio interview. The Philippines Coastal Guard and the armed forces of the Philippines for this coming week will be intensifying our patrols to make sure that they will leave the reef. Over 100 Chinese vessels were also spotted in the Philippines part of the South China Sea in mid-April, consisting of the Chinese maritime militaries and 2 ships from the Chinese Coastal Guard. China claims sovereignty over most of the entire of the South China Sea based on the so-called 9-dash line, stretching more than 1,500 kilometers off the mainland and cutting into the exclusive economic zones of several countries, including the Philippines. 2016, an international tribunal in the Hague dismissed the expense of Chinese claim of the waters, but Beijing did not recognize the ruling, and has recently years rapidly developed its military presence, including by building artificial island bases in the contested waters. Terrio says their increased presence in the disputed waters is part of China's usual strategic objective, adding that for that to occupy a particular feature that will swarm the area for a very long period of time. If you fail to notice them, they will increase their numbers eventually. The PCC has adopted a strategy of its own to counter such approach by publicizing China's activities in the South China Sea. Once publicized these events, the international community condemns them, and various ambitious criticize such activities of China. We will follow up the deployment of our government assets that they have immediately, Terry says.
Does it mean something these guys can win this thing? You think it means something? Absolutely it does. You came here to win it.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying of this recent news article from the AirNews.com. As it says again, Philippines step up patrols after spotting dozens of Chinese vessels in the South China Sea. So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying. Like I mentioned again, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Hokar Kadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching the word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered the four corners of the globe, preaching the word, truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.